Good morning and a hearty welcome to all invitees and academicians to a webinar on navigating through stress and anxiety during the pandemic, jointly organized by St. Agnes College Autonomous Mangaluru and Mangala Alumni Association Mangalore University. St. Agnes College, Mangaluru, a premier education institution founded in the year 1921 by a great visionary Mother Mary Elvisha, who was a recipient of the Kaiser-i-Hind Gold Medal of the First Class, a prestigious national award by the then British Government of India for her remarkable contributions in the field of women's education in the year 1929. St. Agnes College was the first women's college on the west coast of India and the first under private management in the whole country. The college, since its inception, has been imparting value-based education to women, irrespective of caste, creed, or economic status. St. Agnes College was the first institution in Mangalore University to submit itself to the accreditation process conducted by the NAC in the year 1999 and has the honor of being awarded 5-star grade. The college was recognized as a college with potential for excellence by the UGC and also the only recipient of the prestigious Jimmy and Roslyn Carter Partnership Award for campus community collaboration in the whole country for its program on watershed management in the year 2006. St. Agnes College has been conferred with College of Excellence grant by the UGC in 2017. It is also the recipient of Star College status by the Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. St. Agnes College is the only college as of now under Mangalore University to complete the 4th cycle of reassessment and reaccreditation by NAC and has obtained A+ grade with a CGPA of 3.65 out of 4. St. Agnes College attained autonomous status by the UGC in the year 2006 and Mangalore University conferred it in the year 2007. The year 2021 is another milestone in the history of St. Agnes College as it completes 100 golden years of education and service for the empowerment of women. Friends, Mangala Alumni Association is an association with a difference. This association is popularly known as MA, which came into existence in the year 2006 and has been organizing number of utility-oriented programs for its various stakeholders. Some of the ongoing activities are job fairs and placement drives for students, seminars, workshops and training programs for teachers, research scholars and students, community development programs for the public, industry linkages for growth and advancement. Dear friends, the whole world today is facing probably the toughest time in its history. The pandemic COVID-19 has significantly disrupted almost all segments of the society. Schools and colleges are shut down, and there is an uncertainty regarding the reopening of these educational institutions. Due to the close down of educational institutes, it is estimated that more than 1,000 million learners are going to be affected across the world. The entire teaching community is under stress and anxiety due to the massive transformation in the methods of teaching, learning, and evaluation. The study report of the National Foundation for Educational Research says that teachers go through more job-oriented stress than any other professionals. The study also shows that the mental health of teachers and the mental health of students are interconnected. When the teacher is under stress, it is going to affect the mental health status of the students also. Thus, there is an inevitable necessity to readjust our lifestyle to accept the paradigm shift in the education system for the capacity building of our students. The purpose of today's webinar is to give the teaching fraternity a sense of direction to navigate through these hard times owing to the pandemic COVID-19. Dear academicians, on behalf of St. Agnes College, Mangaluru and Mangala Alumni Association, I, Dr. Devi Prabha Alva and Mrs. Sabina D'Souza, organizers of this webinar, wish you a fruitful time with us online. I request Sister Dr. Vanessa AC, Principal of St. Agnes College, to extend a cordial welcome to all of you.
Good morning to all and a gracious welcome to the webinar Navigating Through Stress and Anxiety During the Pandemic, organized by St. Agnes College in association with Mangala Alumni Association, Mangalore University. It gives me much joy to welcome Professor P.S. Edapaditaya, the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, the inaugurator of the webinar. A warm welcome to you, sir. We have with us Dr. Ramila Shekhar, mental health professional, Manashanti Counseling Research and Training Center, the esteemed resource person of the day. Welcome to you, madam. A warm welcome to Sri Dinesh Kumar Alwa, the President, and the Executive Committee members of Mangala Alumni Association. A hearty welcome to all the participants who have joined us from far and near. COVID-19 has gripped the entire world with fear and anxiety. It is a global tragedy, but it is a historic one because it will change our lives, our jobs, and many more things. We are in a stressful time. At government and health officials' order, large gatherings are cancelled. Obsessive hand wash, use of sanitizers, masks is but mandatory. And much of the world is in an uneasy state of lockdown. There is lot of uncertainty, physical isolation. Being alone with your thoughts is more distressing than ever. So it is inevitable that as educators, we learn to navigate smoothly with the feeling waves of anxiety, smarten our approach to deal with it that can meaningfully reduce our sense of helplessness and help those under our care who need our help and support. The webinar, Navigating Through Stress and Anxiety, will surely provide us tips to deal with the stressful time today. I wish all the participants a fruitful time. A word of appreciation to Dr. Devi Prabha, the convener, and Mrs. Sabina D'Souza, the organizing secretary. Once again, a warm welcome to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, dear sister, for those words of welcome. Inauguration of the webinar. Now, I would like to introduce you to a great personality, the inaugurator of today's webinar, Dr. P.S. Edapaditaya, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, Mangala Gangotri. Professor Dr. Edapaditaya has completed his M.Com from Mangalore University, securing first rank with gold medal. He has obtained his PhD degree from Mangalore University and has published 46 research papers in national and international journals of repute. He has successfully supervised 21 PhD theses, 5 MPhil scholars in the areas of human resources management, human resources development, and marketing. He has completed his postdoctoral research at Nottingham Business School, Nottingham Trent University, England. Sir has also conducted 1 minor research and 1 major research projects. Professor Edapaditaya has held several responsibilities in the university and has become a part and parcel in the growth of Mangalore University. He has been the Dean of Faculty of Commerce, Chairman of Department of Studies in Commerce, Board of Examination, Board of Studies in Commerce, UG and PG of all affiliated colleges, Board of Studies in HRD, both UG and PG, Local Inquiry Committee for Inspection of Colleges, Institutions for Grant of Extension, Renewal, Permanent Affiliation of Mangalore University. He was also a member of Advisory Board Center for Women Studies, and he is the member coordinator of NAT Peer Team Bengaluru, nodal officer of KSF Mangalore University. He is also an institutional coordinator of RUSA Mangalore University, and also is the coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Mangalore University. Sir has climbed the ladder of success one by one in the university through his continuous hard work, perseverance, dedication, and commitment. He is a leader par excellence. He has served the university in the capacities of professor, trainer, consultant for more than 33 years. He served as the finance officer of Mangalore University for 3.5 years. He was a registrar of evaluation of Mangalore University for 2 years, 9 months. He also served as a registrar of administration of Mangalore University for 3 years. All this experience has prepared him to comfortably to hold the chair with the dignity as the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University today. Sir, we congratulate you here and we thank you for being our Vice Chancellor. He is the first Taulava Vice Chancellor of our Tulunadu. And he is the first alumna to become the Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University. Sir, we are really proud of you. Sir was the founder of Mangala Alumni Association also, and my very dear teacher. Sir, a warm welcome to you. Professor Edapadithaya has received an international award entitled eLearn International Award 2003 from Scotland, UK for his best research paper on trends and status of corporate e-learning and Indian experience. Professor Edapadithaya is also the recipient of the prestigious Diwang Mehta National Award for Best Teacher in Human Resource Management in November 2009. Dear academicians, I have only placed before you just a glimpse of the profile of this great personality. And now I request Professor Edapadithaya to inaugurate this webinar and deliver the inaugural address.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Greetings from Mangalore University.
Thank you very much, sir.
Esteemed resource person of the webinar, jointly organized by Saint Agnes College Autonomous and Mangala Alumni Association MA, on navigating through stress and anxiety during the pandemic, Dr. Ramila Shekhar, Principal, Sister Dr. Vanessa AC, President of Mangala Alumni Association, Sri Dinesh Kumar Alwaki, convener of this webinar, Dr. Devi Prabha, organizing secretary, Mrs. Sabina D'Souza, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a very rare opportunity for all of us to embrace a kind of change, because COVID-19 brought about an era of radical uncertainty. Whether we like it or not, it's a kind of crisis, unexpected, and it is not desirable one also. But good or bad, whether we need it or not, COVID-19 taught us wonderful we have not learned all those lessons. Now, with regard to this webinar, I want to make certain seven introductory remarks where I'm very much pleased. Note that, first of all, the organizers have chosen a very timely and appropriate theme for the webinar. Second observation is the title of the webinar itself brought forward four keywords. Navigating, the first keyword. Second one is stress. The third one is anxiety. The fourth one is, of course, inevitably and not surprisingly, pandemic, that is COVID-19 pandemic. Navigating, yes, because when you are not in a position to change the circumstances of situation, we must know how to change ourselves. Changing ourselves means nothing but changing our own perception, our thought process, our feelings or emotions, our action tendencies, and finally our actions or behavioral patterns. This is what we have to be highly adaptable. That is possible only when we welcome a kind of quality called agility. That's very much required today to survive, grow, and excel in whatever we do. That is what my first observation. And with reference to second observation, navigation is very, very important because do not panic and don't think that you're helpless. You're very powerful because the idea can definitely change your life. I appreciate that you're sitting at home. You've got unfounded leisure time. You cannot do anything happening around you, but definitely you can do several things what's happening inside you. That is what I understand. We have to navigate because we cannot keep quiet. Then stress, of course, stress by itself and in itself is neither good nor bad, just like blood pressure or blood sugar. We need it. But the question is, too high or too low will cause alarming situation to all of us. Therefore, stress is required. Positive stress is nothing but eustress, because when Dr. Devi Prabha Alua is organizing this program, she is well aware of the technical snags or certain glitches, and she has prepared mentally, physically, intellectually, socially, and spiritually to handle all these things. But this kind of crisis has also provided her wonderful opportunities to lay her hands on this digital platform. Therefore, this is called creative tension or positive stress. Technically, it is known as eustress. But the other one is distress, because when you are not in a position to handle the stress in a very effective and efficient manner, it becomes distress, which will cause a lot of strains, physical and mental strains, and it may also lead to psychosomatic disorders. Therefore, stress is there. It is nothing but it's a necessary evil. Why it is evil? Because it's a part and parcel for life. We must know how to manage it, how to contain it, just like we cannot say no to this COVID-19. Even the post-COVID-19 scenario is also will be there because we must know how to live with this kind of COVID-19 for a very long time, according to World Health Organization, and that is what we experience. Therefore, the third key element here is anxiety. Of course, anxiety will lead to several kinds of fear because most of us sitting at home, particularly the students, forget about the teachers, students are worrying about whether the academic schedule of 2019-20 will be extended or not, whether examination will be conducted only after conducting 1 or 2 weeks of classes in a conventional mode, in a face-to-face manner, or examination will be conducted in the month of June or July or August, when the fresh batch will be reopened, whether it is the 1st of September. Likewise, many questions are left still unanswered, not only by me as the Vice Chancellor, but also the government. Therefore, there is an element of uncertainty, there is an element of anxiety, which will cause different kinds of fear. For example, fear of failure, fear of committing mistakes, fear of criticism, fear of old age, fear of retirement, fear of death, fear of our inability to handle this COVID-19 crisis. But remember, this crisis has also created a number of opportunities. But of course, I am very sure that these opportunities are thrust upon us because of this crisis, COVID-19. There will be anxiety, but we are coming to terms with this kind of anxiety. Of course, Dr. Amila Shekhar will help us how to handle this kind of anxiety. Therefore, do not panic, don't worry, be happy, and you must know how to keep yourself cool all the time. Then only when your mind is upset, when you are angry, you cannot take decisions. If you take decisions, that will go wrong. Because I understand there are three important sequences: decisions, actions, and consequences. Decisions must be well informed one. Once you take the decision, you have to implement these decisions to appropriate and timely actions. When you implement it to actions, in third stage only, you'll come to know the consequences. These consequences may be intended or desirable or unintended or undesirable. But most of these cases, during this lockdown period and also post COVID-19, after the lockdown also, we must understand that how to understand the decisions, actions, and consequences. Only after assessing the consequences, you must be able to take the decision. Therefore, this is nothing but futurity of the current decision. We are operating in a whitewater syndrome or a kind of turbulence created by this pandemic. Therefore, navigating stress, anxiety, and pandemic, these are the four key words in this webinar. Then the third observation is, of course, all of us are really blessed because during these days, difficult time, it is extremely difficult to obtain a perfect or the right resource person. Here we have got a learned, experienced, and renowned resource person. It is none other than I know her very well for many years in Delhi and for academic impact. And he's leading what is called Manashanti Counseling Research and Training Center. Today, everybody is striving hard to create, build, and nurture a kind of environment which can, at the end of the day, provide us Manashanti, a kind of peace of mind. Even under trying circumstances, definitely we can get this kind of Manashanti, provided we are blessed with this kind of right kind of resource person, Dr. Ramila Shekhar. The fourth observation is your target audience is well chosen because the college faculty, the teachers, I also belong to the teaching fraternity. I am one among them. I'm only first among equals as the vice chancellor. Again and again, I am telling all of you. Therefore, I am with my own friends called the faculty, college faculty. They are considered to be the guardians of academic well-being during this type of difficult times created by COVID-19. No problem. When they are happy, when they know how to handle themselves, they can definitely handle the manifold crisis created by COVID-19 in the domain of academic world. And the fifth observation is, whether we like it or not, we know now how to live with this kind of digital platform. Because I know very well that e-learning cannot completely replace the physical learning or face-to-face conventional mode of teaching, learning, and evaluation process. But we have to be flexible. We have to change our mindset. When we are not in a position to change the situation, we must kindly change ourselves. That is what change our perception, our thought process, feelings, action tendencies, and finally actions. That is what we are today experiencing this kind of digital experience, digital platform. Therefore, yesterday I was recommending to some of the top bodies in India, in the Indian context, the future education scenario may have to have three kinds, kind of inextricably interwoven in this fabric. One third, one third, one third. One third e-learning, one third C learning or classroom learning, and one third experiential or experimental learning provided by hands-on experience. That kind of situation will be there. And the sixth observation is Agnes College plus Mangala Alumni Association. A wonderful combination. They are joining together because they are coming together, they are definitely working together, and they are also succeeding together without an iota of doubt. I'm very sure because there is a wonderful chemistry between the Agnes College and Mangala Alumni Association. Mangala Alumni Association can make several things happen in a very, very economically useful, socially useful, and morally defensible manner. I appreciate that. The seventh one in the Saptapadi stream now, seventh one is COVID-19. COVID-19 pandemic, I am very sure it is the biggest equalizer of all time because it has taught a wonderful lesson. Today, in the eyes of COVID-19, all are equal because maybe the king or the queen or the beggar or the sweeper or the vice chancellor or the teacher or the class 4 employee, whatever you call, all are equal. No boundaries for COVID-19. It doesn't require any passport or visa stamping. It can travel freely. It means ನಾವು ಯಾವುದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪಠ್ಯ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಯಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಂತಹ ಪಾಠಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಪುನೀತರಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಿರುವಾಗ ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಮಿಲಾ ಶೇಖರ್ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಉಪದೇಶ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರ ಅನುಭವ ಧಾರೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಸಸ್ ಏನು, ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಆ ನಂತರ ಕೋಪಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜೀಸ್ ಯಾವುದು, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜೀಸ್ ನಾವು ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುವಾಗ 2 ತಿಂಗಳು ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ ನಾವ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆವು, ಶಾಪ ಇಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ, ದುಃಖ ಪಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಬೈದು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು, ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಮಗೆ ಇಂತ ಒಂದು ರಜೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. ಇದು ರಜೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು. ಕೆಲವು ಅಡುಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಲಿಬಹುದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಪೆಟ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಆಟ ಆಡಬಹುದು. ನಾವು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದು ಅನ್ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ಡ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. ಅದು ನಾಯಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಲೊಡಿದಾಗ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವ್ದಾಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೀ ಮೈಂಡ್, ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಾನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಂಡಾಗೆ ನಾನು ಈ ಒಂದು 2 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಫಾಲೋ ಎ ರುಟೀನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಯಾವ್ದೊಂದು ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್. ಆ ಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಈಗ ರಜೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗಿರುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಐಡ್ಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೊಂದು ಫಾಲೋ ಎ ರುಟೀನ್. ಎರಡನೇದ್ದು ವೇಕಪ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. 4:00-4:30 ಎಚ್ಚರ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೊರಳಾಡಿ 5:30ಗೆ ಎಳ್ಳಲೇಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಸೂರ್ಯೋದಯದ ಮೊದಲು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತದ್ದು ನಾನು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ವಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸೊ ವೇಕಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಾಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ವೇಕಪ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೇಕ್ ಎ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮೊದಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ನಾವು ಟು ಡೂ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ನ್ಯೂ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಟು ಡೂ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಗಿರಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾನ್, ಡೂ, ಚೆಕ್, ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂಗ್ಸ್, ವೀಕ್ನೆಸಸ್, ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ನಿಮಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಥ್ರೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ವಿತ್ ಫೋಲ್ಡೆಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎದುರು ನೋಡೋದಲ್ಲ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಅದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಲುಕ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ, ಸರಕಾರ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇವರು ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು, ಆಶಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತರು ನಮ್ಮ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಕಾಪಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರ ಪಾಪ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ತುಂಬಾ ಗೌರವ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈಗ ಲಾಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮೇ 31 ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈ, ನಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ನಾವು ಮೆರಿಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ತಂದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತಾಯಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಗಂಡ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಗೆ ನಾವೇ ಕೈ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಲುಕ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಒಂದು ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಸೋಲ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹೌ ಟು ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್. ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ನ್ಔಟ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಒಂದು ವಿಚಿತ್ರ ಅನುಭವ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು ಇನೇಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಟು ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್. ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಸ್ಟೇ ಕಾಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಬೆಟರ್. ಅದು ಮಾಡಿ. ಮೆಡಿಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಕ್ಲೀನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್, ರಿಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್, ಬಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾಷನೇಟ್. ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಇವತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ BM ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ನನಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು, ಐ ಐ ಐ ನಾನು ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಐ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ. ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ವಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ ವೆಲ್ನೆಸ್. ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಮನಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವ. ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಟಿವಿ ಇರಲಿ, ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇ ಫೋಕಸ್. ಆಗಿರುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಇರಲಿ, ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇ ಫೋಕಸ್ಡ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಕ್ರಾಸ್ಟಿನೇಟ್. ನಾಳೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇವತ್ತೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇವತ್ತು ಮಾಡೋದು ಈಗಲೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಈಸ್ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್, ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಈವನ್ ಟುಡೇ ಇಸ್ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ನಾವು ಹೇಳುವಂತದ್ದು ಹಾಗೆ. ನೆವರ್ ಲೀವ್ ಯುವರ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ. ಇದು ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ನಾವು ಕಲ್ತುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಾವು ಟೈಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡುದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ 24 ಗಂಟೆ, ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಸ್ ಆಗಿರುವಾಗ ಇದನ್ನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳುವಂತ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ವೈಸ್ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾನು 1 ವರ್ಷ ಕಲ್ತದ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಲರ್ನ್ ಟು ಸೇ ನೋ ಅಂತ. ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ನೋ ಹೇಳೋದು ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆ ನಂತರ ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸುಸಂದರ್ಭ. ಅದು ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಕೋಟಿನ್ ಅಂತ. ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಇದರ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ತಪಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೀವು ಜಯಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೋಲಿನ ಸರ್ದಾರರಾಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅಂತ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಹಾಳಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಾಫಿ ಕುಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೆಫಿನ್ ಲೋಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಿಕೋಟಿನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅವಕಾಶ. ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಮ್ಮನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ನಿಂತ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಕಂಡ್ರೆ ಯಾರದ ಪಕ್ಕದ ನೇಬರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬಹುದು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬಹುದು, ಪೆಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ನೀಡ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ನೀಡ್ someone in type of crisis ಅಥವಾ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಅಗೈನ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಬಿ ಎಂ ಹೆಗಡೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಇಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ 3 things ಅಂತೆ ಬಿ ಎಂ ಹೆಗಡೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಹರಿ, ವರಿ, ಕರಿ. ಹರಿ ಅಂತಲೇ ಟೈಪ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಗಡಿಬಿಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು COVID-19 ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀವು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರ್ತೀರಿ. ಅದು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಹಳ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದದೆ ಕೂಲ್ ಆಗಿ, ನಾವು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಗಡಿಬಿಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಟೈಪ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟೀಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹರಿ ಬೇಡ. ವರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನನ್ನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಾನ್ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಉಳಿದವ್ರು ಯಾವ್ದು ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ವರಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ಕರಿ, ತಿನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ ತಿಂತ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ತಿನ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಎಕ್ಸರ್ಸೈಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ 3 things: ಹರಿ, ವರಿ, ಕರಿ. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರಮೀಳಾ ಶೇಖರ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಖಂಡಿತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್ ಅನ್ನು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗ್ಲಿ. ಮೇಕ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರೂತ್, ಎವ್ರಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ನ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್, ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಐ ಕಂಗ್ರಾಚುಲೇಟ್ the organizers, both Agnes College and our Mangala Alumni Association. ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ನ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಥ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಶುಭವಾಗಲಿ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್, ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for those words of encouragement, for making the participants and the academics understand the psychological stress what we are undergoing because of technical hiccups. Dear friends, Mangala Alumni Association is being strongly led by Sri Dinesh Kumar Alva. He is always like a wind beneath our wings, giving moral support and all the support required to organize any number of activities under the banner of Mangala Alumni Association.
St. Agnes College, Mangalore and Mangala Alumni Association, MA, are jointly organizing this webinar for college teachers on navigating through stress and anxiety during the pandemic. Really, it is a wonderful program. Our organizers have selected a very good topic and very good resource person. First of all, I would like to congratulate the organizers, the principal of St. Agnes College, office bearers of MA, and especially the coordinator, Dr. Deviprabha Alva, and Mrs. Sabina D'Souza for their wonderful work. At the same time, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Subramania Edapadithaya, for his good inaugural address. Let this webinar be a good platform for our teaching community to enrich their knowledge and to clarify their doubts. Let there be a good interaction between the resource person and delegates. Whatever knowledge they gain through this webinar, let it percolate down to our students' community during this crucial period of COVID-19. And it is wonderful to know that more than 600 faculty members are participating in this program. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Dear friends, the resource person of the webinar today is Dr. Ramila Shekhar, a highly qualified personality. As Professor Edapadithaya rightly said, Ramila Shekhar is the person whom we always look forward whenever a topic with regard to counseling, mentoring, stress or anxiety related comes. And she is always available to us to solve our problems. And I take this opportunity to introduce this great personality to all of you. Ramila Shekhar has served as a professor, HOD and Dean of PG Department of Roshni Nilaya for 34 years. Currently, after her superannuation, she is working as a practicing child, adolescent and youth mental health professional at the Manashanti Counseling, Training and Research Center, Mangalore. Ramila Shekhar Madam has conducted more than 1,000 programs for students, parents, teachers and members of various government and corporate sectors. Her article, research-based article titled Efficacy of Strength-Based Practice in Engaging with the Children with the Behavior Problems, a case study from India, is published in a book by the Primrose Hall Publishing Group and released at the International Conference in Melbourne in 2016. Ramila Madam has presented a number of research papers and contributed many articles and research papers in various journals, souvenirs, and daily newspapers. She has been appointed as the editor for the National Journal of Professional Social Work in the year 2018. She is a member of many local, national, and international organizations. Ramila Madam has been appointed for the second time as the Juvenile Justice Board member of Dakshina Kannada district. She is also appointed for 2 consecutive terms as a member of the Mental Health Authority of Karnataka. She is a member Prevention of Sexual Harassment Office of Mangalore City Commissionerate and Dakshina Kannada Police. Ramila Madam at present is the member of Prevention of Sexual Harassment Committee of KMC Hospital Mangalore, the Karnataka Bank, Head Office Mangalore, and Tet Herpes Software Company. She is also appointed as a member of Ad Hoc Body of Sensitization, Prevention and Redressal of Sexual Harassment Committee, Mangalore University. She is also a member of the Internal Complaints Committee of NITK Surattal and also the Department of Post, Mangaluru Division. Madam has been conferred the Best Educationist Award by the Global Society for Health and Educational Growth, New Delhi, in the year 2015. She has been invited to give lectures to students of Olda University, Norway, and University of Leuven, Belgium. Madam has been engaged in All India radio programs for children and women, thus educate and empower them. She is the author of books on child mental health and women and mental health, which is used as a manual for teachers and parents on child mental health. Since March 2020, Madam has been invited to conduct online training to mental health professionals from all over India on psychosocial support, teletherapy, and managing stress during the pandemic. Madam's special interests are working with children, adolescents, women, and dealing with the family-related issues, thus striving towards a better and a progressive society. Dear Madam, I cordially welcome you for this webinar and thank you wholeheartedly for accepting our invitation to take up this challenging topic, navigating through stress and anxiety during the pandemic. Madam, on behalf of St. Agnes College, Autonomous Mangaluru and Mangala Alumni Association, I thank you and welcome you and request you to take up this.
Yes, at the outset, I want to start by thanking St. Agnes College, my own alma mater, for giving me an opportunity, as our VC rightly said, to share my experiences. This is not something new that I'm saying. Most of us know what I'm going to talk about, but maybe I'm just highlighting it with the examples that I'm going to tell you. Secondly, with regard to the topic, I remember when Madam Devi Prabha asked me some days back, I just sat and pondered saying what would be useful to our faculty. And that was when I thought of the number of calls that I got from the college teachers as well as school teachers with regard to various issues. And then I thought I should talk about the stress that college teachers go on, the school teachers go on because of this change that is happening around us. I have just brought it as navigating through stress and anxiety during pandemic. Uh, so why did we think of navigating? As VC again rightly said here, very correctly he mentioned saying that this pandemic is here to stay for some time, and so we have to cope with it. To the audience, is the PPT visible? PPT. Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, any change, any disaster, any pandemic is going to cause a certain disruption. And when this disruption of physical, psychological, social, and economical situation exceeds more than our coping capacity, then all of us undergo an emotional reaction. Now, something here that we have to understand is these emotional reactions are normal to a certain extent, as long as they are within the normal range, as long as they are there for a short period of time, as long as they don't disturb our day-to-day life for a long period of time. And I think world over, everybody is talking of another pandemic along with COVID-19, and that is the mental health pandemic, which is a result because of the simple fact that the problems that we have are more than the coping capacities that we are facing. So, what is the psychological, psychosocial state that all of us are, adults are, or can I say a teacher is? I have picked out only relevant facts for teachers. Okay, generally as a college teacher, we are settled, and as the VC rightly said, there is a predictable routine for us. We get up in the morning, we have something, then we go to college, then we do everything. We are busy with our occupational and social life. We have an occupational life, we have a social life. So all of us, I think to a large extent, we were able to, balance these two beautifully for a long period of time. And because of which there was a lot of contentment, life was going on very nicely, there was no problems at all. Suddenly came the COVID-19. What is happening? Suddenly we are faced with a lot of uncertainty. Suddenly we are faced with a vacuum, because I had a lot of calls coming and telling me that, Madam, I don't know what to do because I'm suddenly sitting at home, which I have not done for so many years. Okay, suddenly there is a need for rebuilding my life. Especially I'm talking about the management faculty, especially I'm talking about people who were on contract jobs, who suddenly feel maybe we are going to lose lose our jobs, what next? But especially I'm talking about it with relation to college teachers. We have a social image. Everybody respects y'all when y'all are a college teacher. And now, in spite of the fact no salary, in spite of the fact no job, in spite of the fact all those things, we still have to maintain a social image. There is a need for change and so much of unpredictability. I think just these few things will help us to understand what we are going through. I had sent a survey, and approximately 214 to 217 people or 18 people have answered the survey. I've just picked out some important aspects on the basis of which I have, prepared this session as such. The age of the participants who have responded to me, that is the total number was 217, is between 25 and 45 years, that is 74%. But most of them from 74% belong to 25 to 35 years. Taking into consideration gender, 72% are women. Taking into consideration the type of appointment, management faculty were 52% out of the 216 who have answered this question. I had asked a number of questions about whether there is disturbing emotional reactions, whether I get angry, whether I get, fear, whether I have a panic. 30 to 40% have answered sometimes. 10 to 15% out of 216 have answered often and very often. And whether these emotional reactions have interfered in relationships, 55% have answered somewhat and 16% have answered extremely. Whether these emotional reactions have affected work, 56 have answered to somewhat and 10% have answered to extremely out of 214. Inability to relax is there. How do I cope? Sir talked about coping. How do I cope? Nearly 35% have said they are not able to relax and 15% have said they are very often not able to relax. How many are able to cope with the situation? Sometimes it is 39%, often it is only 10%. Okay, and when I ask the question of are all of us working virtually, 89% are working virtually. And how many are satisfied with this? Only 35% are satisfied and only 24% feel it is productive. So now this survey itself gave me an understanding of what we are going through. So what are the psychological, physical and social changes from what the teachers wrote to me? Physical, if I take up, as sir has said, I am at home. I don't know what to do. And for about from March 23rd to May 4th, I was all stuck at home. And suddenly there was a circular, I come back to college. Now that change was too much for me. And now I have to have a change in the routine. Okay, I have to get up because children are at home. There are so many things that are different from before. So the whole routine has to change. And most of the women who have called me up during this pandemic have told me this working from home has become more strenuous for them. I'll tell you why later on. Coming, I just picked up a few. I'm not giving you a big list of it. There is a list really. Okay, psychological. What is the psychological state that they are? There's uncertainty, there is fear, there is anxiety, there is care, there is confusion. A confusion in lot many. How long is this going to last? How can I manage? What am I supposed to do? All this is going on. Coming to the social changes that are happening, the mobility issue is the biggest social change that is happening. I could just walk out and get something, now I can't do that. I could do something, I can't do that. Relationship issues. Okay, because we are all at home. I'll give you a very simple example here of two examples I'm going to give you. I had a phone call from a couple who are married for nearly 30 years, having grown up children, and the woman called me up to say, enough is enough, madam, I'm just getting it. I can't take it anymore. 24 hours is too much for me. Okay, I had another call from a young girl who's studying in PUC, whose mother told me that for the past 1 month of lockdown, she was okay, ma'am. So when I asked her, I heard you were okay. She said, no, ma'am, I was not okay. I'm feeling miserable. I hated being here with them for 24 hours. I am just waiting for this lockdown to get over so I can get out of this house. Now, this is one basic issue, and that's why I said more strenuous and physical also. Many women have told me, earlier, ma'am, it was very easy. I used to get up, I used to finish all my work by 9 o'clock if she's a housewife, and by 9 the house would be mine. 11 to 12 I had all the time in my hands. I could do what I want. But now it's not so. My teenage fellow gets up only at 11:30 and asks me for breakfast. My daughter feels hungry at 12:30. My job is a never-ending one, ma'am. And so if it is a teacher and she has to present online, she has to do everything, you can imagine how much of stress these persons are going on. So these are the psychosocial changes. So what happens because of these psychosocial changes? I just put, because that stress word is very loosely used and we tend to make use of it very, very commonly. So I just put it in a form of a equation, a form of a formula. Okay, and the formula that I put was S stress is equal to, okay, pressure is more than the resources. I just gave you the example. Pressure of serving food at different times for people, pressure of preparing online classes, pressure of maintaining the house, pressure of maintaining something else. All this pressure and the resources are very little. Like simple example, what we went through now. We were all ready here at 9:45, but that internet resource gave way for us for some time. So the resources that we have, it's not in our hands. It could be our strength, it could be the support that I have, it could be anything that is becoming reduced. And when the pressure is more and the resources is less, the stress automatically occurs. And this is where these two words come up in our life. Stress, it's a physiological and a psychological response to a situation that threatens or challenges and that requires some kind of adjustment. Anxiety is more than just feeling stressed and worried. Stress and worry usually passes out, but anxiety can last, okay? And it comes in the way of day-to-day functioning. When I'm talking about stress and anxiety, what are the stresses for our college teachers? My work has been made easier by the VC, okay? But I'm just going to highlight a few things. Teaching modalities. Yes, I had a call from a lecturer who is retiring in the month of October. And she said, do I need to study all this now, ma'am? I'm finding it so difficult. I put something in the PPT and I press a button, everything goes off and then I have to call my son. And he screams at me, why do I need this at the end of my career? So now this is what I'm talking about, teaching modalities being changed. Teachers are very, very scared. I've had a number of high school teachers and PUC teachers who are very, very apprehensive about the fact how students are taking their lessons because they can't see them. Children being at home 24/7, how do I keep them occupied? Family at home, what do I do with all of them? And that is the result of more friction at home. Added to all this is the hand hygiene and the hygienic aspects that have been made very, very clear. You have to do this, you have to do this. I have to clean my hands, I have to clean the vegetables as soon as they come. Now that's only adding things. And every time you put on the TV or any social media, you have a news glaring on your face saying that just today morning I just heard in the TV saying Mumbai has 1,000 new cases today. You can imagine what the people in Mumbai are going to feel when they see this. Because we know somebody that is either I or somebody I know is becoming sick. And that can be very, very stressful. And this is where I thought of what Sale got as general adaptation syndrome theory. It may be outdated now because of the physiological base that he gave in, but you can see the same factors also coming up now, and I can see it in the calls that I have. The alarm, the resistance, and the exhaustion that is there. Okay, so now let me just talk a little bit about the sources of stress for college teachers. Okay, the first source, I'm not going to pinpoint everything, I've put it in a big umbrella for you. The first source is the life changes itself, the life events themselves. And I think my friend sent me this picture, which is very, 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 clear about what I'm talking. Women, college teachers, and all the women who are working are juggling at home, juggling between the different roles that they're going on. But it's not so the men are not having difficulty, and I have a picture here which beautifully shows, because I've had a lot of calls from my IT people, I've had a lot of calls from teachers also. Madam, when I'm just preparing a PPT, my child comes. Or when I'm just doing something, internet goes off. So now what am I supposed to do? So first source of stress that is there. Second is the chronic stress that is there. And I think today the chronic stress is the COVID-19 news itself. Okay, the increased number of cases, the lockdown that is being continued. As I just told you, the cases are being increased. The lockdown is being continued. Now, as the 31st is coming near, I have a lot of people worried about, is it going to be there or not there? And if it's not there, what are the problems that are there? Constant face-to-face with family is a constant stress, chronic stress. And I have quoted one particular woman who rang me up, and when I told her, you need to relax, she told me, relaxation is out of the question. Relaxation is totally out of the question, she told me. And of course, a chronic stress for all teachers is the new learning of the virtual classes. Preparing a virtual class itself is not a big effort, but maintaining and feeling that the students are interested and they are able to see it is, and benefit out of it is a big learning. And it's a big stress that is continuously going on. Is that all? No. There are hassles. Every day, small hassles that accumulate and make it a big one. Like simple example, children at home, immobility, lack of provisions maybe. I can't go, I could just go now, the shop is not open always. Okay, immobility because of the simple fact it affects the social life. Because I remember this woman ringing me up and telling me about it. And she told me, Madam, at least that 3 to 4 I used to go to the market every day, or at least thrice a week. And that used to be a nice stress buster for me. I used to meet people. I used to talk to the vegetable person. Now I am very scared to do that. So all these are small hassles that are accumulating and becoming a big one. Irritated family members. I've had lots and lots of calls where the mother has been told, oh, this is only what you can cook. Okay, I have had mothers who have told me, Madam, I never thought that I will look at the internet and cook, but I am doing that for the sake of my son. Because otherwise, every time he's threatening me, saying that I'll order from Swiggy. I don't want that Swiggy fellow to come. So I am looking at the internet and preparing. Now that is, it's an extra job. And always at the back of your mind, you are wondering whether it's going to work or not. Okay, demanding family members, as I told you, one gets up at 9 o'clock, one gets up at 11 o'clock, one wants coffee at 4 o'clock, somebody else wants something. Now this is small, yes, but yet it becomes a big issue. So how do we manage all this? Okay, this was spoken by our VC, but he did not label it. That's all that I'm doing. There are two ways that we manage: problem focused and emotional focused. We manage the problem. You manage the lockdown. You manage the family hassles. So you're managing the problem that is there. You're tackling with the problem that is there. Whereas sometimes it can be emotional focus. You reduce the emotional impact on the stress. Okay. There can be positive as well as negative, but from what I got from most of the survey as well as the individual calls is most of the time negative emotional focus, by becoming violent, by becoming panic, by losing our temper. But otherwise it can be just also, it can be by not getting upset when something goes wrong. Because, but this is very, very, very difficult, and I've spoken about this to many people, and I've said, try reducing your emotional aspects. It's okay. So what if your curry doesn't come out well one day? What will happen? Nothing will happen. No, that can't be. Now, the whole point is, I'm going to come to that later, but just before that, I want to bring in here organizational stress. Okay, the institutions are dynamic, they are versatile. Okay, now institutions are making a new demand on us. Okay, there are timelines, there are online classes, there is knowledge enhancement. Okay, and this was something that was told to me by one of the faculty in one of the colleges, saying, bad enough we are struggling with online classes, now they want us to go and do admission also. So now how many things can I do? What am I supposed to do? Okay, and it has resulted in enhanced expectations from students. The students wants the teacher to give everything. The other day somebody told me, another teacher told me, I try to make it as picturesque as possible, madam, because I want the students to wait. So which means you have to get the pictures. Okay, there's increased responsibility. Being tech savvy itself is a difficult thing for many teachers. Stressed working hours, it's not like before 8:30 to 5. Now the working hours is more because I'm working at home, I'm working everywhere, I'm doing everything. Okay, and it leads to compromise of family interests, it leads to compromise of social ties and everything. And all this is called organizational stress. Why did I bring in? I have a definite reason for bringing this on. Because these are the reasons that have been told to me by by individuals who have called me. Either it is a chronic stress of COVID. Will I get it? Madam, I'm scared. I had another lady who called me up with a panic attack saying, my husband doesn't listen to me when I tell him to wash his legs and hands and come in. And he comes in like that, and I'm getting panic saying, maybe I'll get COVID-19. I will get
You better plan for
I think somebody, can you all, just all of you all, can you mute it, and I will tell you all to unmute later. Okay. So that is something that is happening. The chronic thing, the chronic stress that is going on, daily hassles always there. Organization, colleges, institutions will demand, but remember one thing. The truth is, stress and anxiety doesn't come from the organization, doesn't come from your boss, doesn't come from the principal, doesn't come from your kids, doesn't come from your spouse, doesn't come from lockdowns, or doesn't come from anything. This is not my saying, it is Bernstein. It comes from my own thoughts about these issues. And I have classified it into 3 just to make it easy for us to remember. So maybe each of us can sit and see which one is more among us. One, a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of pessimism in us, a lot of self-critical in us. I have a lot of people who themselves are starting off with the process saying, I'm not good at it. I'm not good housewife. I'm not good at it, technical aspect. When you start working like that, that itself becomes a block and a stressor for you. Lots and lots and lot of mind traps that we have. The mind traps that we keep for ourselves, the shoulds and the must. The should and the must that is there. I should do this. I should make my children happy. My children should be happy. When you put the shoulds and must, the expectation is very high. And when the expectation is high, then there are always problems. And all this engulfs in one important aspect. And I think, we spoke about it, that is our personality. The perfectionist, workaholic personality that I have. I have to do, if I do something, I have to do. For example, today, all of us were prepared. but things went wrong. It goes wrong. I'm now going on to navigation, and what I mean by navigation is maintaining the psychological well-being. So I'm not going to go into everything, but for me, psychological well-being is where an individual is able to realize his or her potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively. And for that, I've again added three aspects. Physical health, you have adequate sleep, you have good appetite, you should be able to have proper exercise. All this is physical aspect. Okay, mental health is I'm able to express, I'm able to accept, I'm able to feel happy. And social health is maintaining positive relationships and having a mastery of them. I'll come back to each of them by saying, what do I do? Now, the strategies. Exactly the same I'm going to go. What are the strategies that are there? One, maintain my physical health. I think very, very important, because a lot of people are having health issues now, because I think our VC brought in very well. Eat healthy, proper diet, sleep well, and also maintain the hygiene. Very, very important. Okay. And second, build up your stamina with physical exercise, which has to be a routine. And I think again, sir spoke about that. When I'm saying routine, I mean it that what you're doing today, you have to do it tomorrow and day after. It can't be for one day. So fix up a routine for the family. Now, this is one very good thing that all of us can be healthy. Fix up a routine for the family. If you are the one who's getting up at 5 o'clock, don't expect your children to get up at 5 o'clock. Maybe they get up at 9. So fix up a routine at 8 o'clock. Some sort of a routine to build up your stamina, so your immunity is built up. Third, very, very important, seek help to manage time and energy. And for this, as teachers, I want to tell you, set aside time for personal, set aside time for professional commits. And I think maintaining this boundary is very, very important. Don't cross boundaries. Don't do two things at a time, which is what many of us are doing. Okay, which is causing a lot of problem. And I am sure from the survey, something that came out is there are signs of burnout at least in 10 to 15% of 215 respondents that I'm saying. Now, what I want to do is recognize this and make yourself happy by doing something nice that you want to do. Okay, it could be anything. You want to do something, get into it. Keep some time, especially for the women. I always keep saying, I said, just tell your family that 12 to 1, I'm not doing anything. Don't ask me for coffee, don't ask me for tea. This is my time, me time. 5 to 6, I want to watch the TV. Please switch off that COVID-19 channels. I want to watch something funny, and I am going to do it because it's good. Now, this is how you work out with your burnout. Don't go and say, oh, this burnout is because of y'all. No, I'm not asking you to do that. So this is something that I want you to do. So recognize the burnout and work with it. Okay. Next, in the psychological aspect I've picked out. What is it? Practice positive thinking, practice positive emotions, practice positive frame of mind. And for positive thinking, the first thing that I want to say is be mindful of yourself and your situation. You will have negative thoughts. Please don't think just because I am giving you a talk today, I don't have negative thoughts. I also am scared. I am also get scared sometimes. But then I have to recognize the thought, I have to accept the thought, and then work with the thought. I have to be able to see a reason out of it. Okay, this person was this distance. I think I've been careful. Now, this is being mindful of yourself, being mindful of your own thoughts, being mindful of your own feelings, which is very, very important for me. Okay? At the same time, be mindful of what others are going on. Because just being mindful of myself and being only, aware of myself and my thoughts is not enough. I have to realize that my teenage son is frustrated sitting at home. I have to realize that my 5-year-old fellow is getting very angry that he is not going to the park. This is being mindful. I have to realize that my elderly father is, getting very angry because he is not allowed to read the newspaper early in the morning because I have the newspaper out for some time. This is mindful. Instead of just saying, why can't you understand how much I am working? How can you be irritated? This is mindful of others. Okay, in the psychological front, be thankful for what you have got. Very, very, very important. I would request this as a family exercise. All of us sit together for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and just look at all the nice things that are happening. Just look at all the nice things that we have had and be thankful for it. Maybe thankful to my parents, thankful to God, whatever you want. I don't know what it is. But be thankful, have that gratitude, because the gratitude itself will help us to build up our psychological well-being. And lastly, develop a spiritual self. I want here to be very careful to understand when I'm talking of spiritual self, I am not talking of religion. I am talking of replacing fear with faith. Faith in whatever you have. Faith in yourself, faith in the supreme power, faith in anything that you have. I want you to develop that aspect. That is the psychological well-being. Now the social well-being. Okay, I think virtual socialization. We are all so stuck with the fact of social distancing. Social distancing is just physical distancing. It does not mean social isolation. So you need to have quality time with the family. You need to have contacts with the family members. This is the best time because you're at home. Have some, help with the people and start talking to people. Ring up and find out how they are. Do something like that. So virtual socialization, maybe a friend who you have never talked to. Enjoy time off. The me time, please give in the me time. Don't be, time management as VC said is good, but don't become a victim of the time. Very important. And don't feel guilty to relax. It's okay. I'm going to go back now and put my legs up on the sofa and sit for 10 minutes because from 9:30 till now, there was a certain amount of, apprehension around me with this internet and other things. So it's okay. I'm going to go down and think. I'm not going to jump into my housewife role. And I don't want to feel guilty about it. Whereas as women, because 72% are women, I'm telling this, as women, there's a lot of guilt. How can I sit when somebody wants something? No, it's okay. It is your time. Please manage it yourself. Next, relationship management. Talk it out. If you have an issue, talk it out. Spill it out. Ventilate it. Don't bottle it up because it will be a volcano. Have at least one person with whom you will talk, with whom you will share. It can be your colleague, it can be your spouse, it can be anybody, but have one person with whom you can share. And most important, and I see this happening among some people, okay, teach what you have learned and exchange your ideas. Exchange your ideas, which is very, very, very important for me. Okay, see something, you have learned something, some new way. I think now, for example, this virtual training has taught me so much by so many people. I learned so much from Devi Prabha madam. I learned so much from somebody else. They told me, they shared with me. So teach it, don't keep it to yourself. Teach and share with it. And that will make you feel much better when you are teaching others. Yes, I brought in this slide because there might be a few people who are heading the institution. I thought this is necessary. I'm not going to go on detail into this, but have some employee assistance program. Encourage encourage networking, encourage video calls, encourage video meetings. Let them say hello. Let's not talk only about admission and number of failures, etc. But let's just talk about how are you, what are you doing, things like that. Have virtual recognition and rewards, which is very, very important. Find out what the faculty has been doing in the past March and April month and have one certificate given to them. They'll feel nice. Okay. Also open up mental health help to this faculty, which is very, very important. That is very important. My last slide, I think, is here. Remember, we have all these resources. We have our positive beliefs. We have our skills. We have a fantastic social support in Indian situation. Our family, our colleague, our neighbors, everybody who is a fantastic support. We have material resources now being given by the government. We have material resources in form of help that is being given. We have relaxation as our resources, which we never think of. We have sense of humor as our resources and make use of it. Please sit for 5 minutes and laugh. It's okay. Laugh at yourself. It's perfectly fine. It makes you a much better person. And also remember, every place, whether you're in Coimbatore, whether you're in Bangalore, whether you're in Kerala or in Bangalore, you have mental health professionals. That's a fantastic. Please contact them if there is any problem. Remember, here I want to say one thing. Contacting a mental health professional and talking about an issue is not a weakness. It is a strength. It is a strength that you realize that you have this problem and you want help. So it's not a weakness. So, as Roger said, in times of stress, the best thing that we can do to each other is to listen with our ears and hearts and be assured that our questions are just as important as our answers. So I think what I'm trying to say here is be mindful of ourselves, be mindful of our surroundings. Okay, once again, I know I went a little faster because I was conscious of the time and I want to give at least 15 minutes for question and answers. I'm sure there are questions in the chat box. You can add to it. I know there are experienced faculty here. So once again, a big thank you to my alma mater and thank you to Madam Devi Prabha. Thank you very much.
Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. It's my privilege to thank each and every one of you responsible for the successful organization of this webinar. At the outset, it's my pleasure to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.S. Edapadithaya, for inaugurating the webinar and inspiring us with his encouraging words. My profound gratitude to our resource speaker, Dr. Ramila Shekhar, for obliging to our request to be the main speaker for this webinar. Madam, we the teachers really needed such a session to come out of stress during this pandemic. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your expertise with the participants. I thank Shri Dinesh Kumar Alva, the President, Dr. Ganesh Sanjeev, the Secretary, and EC members of the Mangala Alumni Association for collaborating with St. Agnes College in the organization of this webinar. I take this opportunity to thank our dear Principal, Sister Dr. Vanessa AC, and Vice Principal, Sister Rupa AC, for their guidance and encouragement. My heartfelt thanks to all the participants from all over the country for your overwhelming response towards this webinar. We are truly blessed to have such a large number and making the organizers act one step higher in conducting this event. We are indeed grateful to all those who offered help and support in organizing this webinar and making it happen. Once again, thank you one and all.